Hi. Good morning, everyone. Good to be here presenting. I'm just kind of 6 months old in the organization, but I think a lot of love and respect, especially the way our founder has created the organization. Before I talk about OMNICHANNEL, let me just give you a glimpse of some of our brands. Even Raw is our brand. I have to keep addressing it to people and say that Raw Pressery is part of us. Postcard, we have Sorcery, we have Monsoon Harvest, so all of it. But more than just about the brands, I would also want to go back and share the principles in which we select brand and we create brand, right? So these are our basic principles in which we create. Like I also spoke of the purpose of creating business. So we will always invent our products in kitchen. Minimally processed is extremely important to us, right? That's why we ensure that the product is good for you, good for your health, right? Fresh and tasty, and we are a very socially responsible organization because there's a purpose. If you know, Win is all about, it's about women-centric. So there's a lot of emphasis on, bringing women to forefront and ensuring that how we empower them, right? So 70% of our force is actually women. As I said, better for you, source from the farm. It's really also about the new generation. I mean, this is what we cater to because I believe that they are the one who will actually change what's happening in the house and what are the kind of new form of product should get in there, right? So that's, and of course, makes life easier. So some of our products have been invented in such a way, like a tube, right? It's like, early morning, if you just want to spread the tube, have a sandwich, you should be able to do it. So I think these are the principles in which we are built. I've just picked up like because it's all about omni-channel. So what does it mean from Google? But that's not important. What's important to us is what does it mean to us, right? This presentation is more than channel, it's really from the view of a customer, right? How does customer look at and how are we addressing it for the customer? That's what I've tried to address here, guys. Yeah. So, I'm sure like a lot of you new generation brands and businesses which we spoke in last 2 days, I'm sure everybody has their own journey. So our journey is, guys, we are totally looking at distribution as the key, right? We need to be available for our customers, right? And of course, awareness. When I say reach, it's really coming in from awareness perspective, right? I think these are the two things critical for us at this point in time. This is our stage, right? So addressing that, so what does omni-channel mean to us? It's in a very simplistic way, it means that we want to be where our customers are, right? It doesn't matter whether it's a housing society to a quick commerce, to anything. We really want to be where our customers are. And that's how I think our purpose of the business has been built, right? Like last 2 days we spoke of also tasting. It's a big part of us. That's how the brand has been created. Brand is really about what kind of experience, what are you giving it to the customer? That's a big part of us. You will see in the presentation that how we've kind of evolved ourselves, right? Literally standing in a store and ensuring that every customer is actually tasting our product and believing in our idea, rather than creating a 300 crore kind of a campaign, which that too I've done in my life, but I'm just saying the difference, right? It's really about ensuring that the customer experiences the brand. So I think this is how we look at it. So I'll actually take you through some of our channels and then what is the key objective we put it across, right? So let's start with D2C. What is it? One thing, I'm just taking you through the objective of each of the channel. For us, D2C is all about really creating that experience in discovery, right? Discovery is very, very important because we have close to around 250, 300 SKU, all brands put together. And, you all know that there is a limitation when it comes to MT, GT. There's only that much you can keep, right? We really want our customer to come and see what it means, really content-led in that sense, right? I mean, we are not there, to be honest with you, but that's the intent. We really want to engage the customer and say, like olive hummus, what can you do about it, right? What are the various ways of creating it, and things like that. So I think that's the purpose which we have. And I also feel that from a customer point of view, they are discovering brands here. That's the first touch point. That is why D2C, that is why online becomes important to us. It's within our control, what kind of experience we want to give it to the customer. As I said, these are all work in progress, but this is what we intend. Offline. Actually, I think modern trade is a place where our brand has actually created. Way back, I think in 2013, where a store like Spencer actually gave an opportunity for us to present the brand. And that's where I think the tasting started, and consumers started to feel the brand in Gurgaon. I think that's how we started. So MT is a big part. For us, it's really not about selling. It's about delivering that experience to the customer. Because we know that, the customer and the product, it's the closest way of, the product interacting with the customer. Any kind of query, any kind of questions where the customer has it, any kind of suggestion the customer has it, we take it here. So MT is a big part of us, right? And where we really want to deliver that experience to the customer in our own way, right? We are very authentic. So we go back and try and represent, what our product and brands mean. So how do we create that experience in the store? That's the intent of MT. It's obviously, it's our, just from our business perspective, we are 70% offline and 30% online. It's a mix of, all the various online channels, but MT is extremely important to us. Quick commerce, I think that's really changing the game for us. If you look at products like hummus, right? Any guesses what would be our biggest sale day in the year? Any guesses for a product like hummus, dips, and so on? 31st December, right? That says it all from a consumer insight, right? Which means that any guest who is coming in, we are part of the celebration of customer. And I think, I love the samosas and jalebi, but the fact is it's being replaced, right? Customers want to showcase, and I remember Anju telling me that in the initial days of Wingreens, right, where we didn't even have labeling, right, in that sense, when she used to kind of go to different parties and she knew that it's her hummus, but the guest, the host of the party always used to say that, ye maine banaya hai, right? I think that's whole touch of saying, ye meri creativity hai, I think that is sort of, we are giving that kind of empowerment to, our customers. And obviously, quick commerce is playing a big role because guest aa gaya, kya karna hai, turant ek hummus mangao, ya fir koi bhi, spread mangao, and showcase, your creative side and be that, I'm such a kind of, I'm sharing a very differentiated product to my guests, right? That's what I think quick commerce is doing, really, I think growing in the fastest way possible, helping us a lot to kind of create that reach. I think event and activation, guys, I'm in trial. I cannot stress on it more. Any kind of a food brand, we heard from Desi Foods also yesterday. Sorry, Go Desi. I think this is such an important part, but now we have taken it to a different level. We want to create experiences, right? We want to, in societies that we work, all the customers where we believe our target audience is there, but deliver that experience. So I'm going to play this video just for you to have a look.
Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere I go, everywhere that I've been, the only thing I see is beautiful people, beautiful people, beautiful people, beautiful people.
So again, I think we have taken it to a different level. We want to create that experience. This is the atmosphere which we create for our customer. It's every week agenda for us. It's like a calendar. Like each weekend, whether we go to a society or we go to a WeWork or we go to any kind of flea market which is happening, we have to be there. It's the biggest marketing mantra what we have, and we believe in it a lot. I think the second thing, really from a multi-channel point of view, because I showcased, we also ensure that our communication delivers that, right? Online में अगर हम add कर रहे हैं तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि हम सिर्फ अपना D2C channel दिखाएं, right? The endeavor is to go back and say, guys, just go buy anywhere as you want. As long as you know what we delivered to you and what we have. I think one of the big challenge what we have is our assortment. many people don't know what kind of assortment we have. So this is just a quick communication which we did. Consciously, we put the sales guy at an empty store and ran on all the online channels, and where a customer can buy, whether online or offline, doesn't matter to us at all.
We have butter garlic naan chips, chatpata pudina naan chips, taste tandoori naan chips, apitas jalapeno, tangy cheese, parmesan, sour cream and onion thighs, sweet chili pita chips, peri peri, butter garlic naan chips with makhni dip, jalapeno pita chips with sweet chili garlic, baked multigrain flatbread, baked chili garlic, pita bread crisps.
कितना कुछ
Just to keep you khush.
So did you all know that kind of chips what we have? So I think that's another big challenge what we carry right now, just to showcase our assortment, because we just don't want people to buy our hummus. We want people to buy many more of our SKU and so on and so forth. So I think that's another thing which we carry consciously to deliver that message home. Also, I think we are very purpose-led marketing, brand. So there is always has to be some purpose which we want to deliver, right? So Yoga Rise is one of our biggest event which we have captured for Raw. It's really about better for you and better for your health. Not only we create assortment keeping that in mind. Somebody was asking me about the protein drink yesterday. But the idea is to deliver, those moments and just own it for us, right? So yoga is biggest during the yoga day. I think the yoga week, we do this activation. I'll just play a video for you. So yes, guys, just to tell you that the Yoga Rise has become so big that today we charge our customer to participate here. So marketing and also earn revenue in that sense. So that's the endeavor. So it's a short view of what we do, guys, and what the endeavor from our side is. As I said, we are at that stage where I think growth is extremely important for us. We want to reach out to many more of our customers. I think distribution is the key. That's where we are standing right now. And I think the consumer trend is also changing, right? I think each one of you, I'm sure, are the customer who tend to read the label before you buy, right? I think we have catered to that customer, but our big challenge, I've been talking about it for last 2 days, is not about you as customer. You are part of 1% of India. I think just to move to the next level beyond 1%, I think is a big challenge. My submission to all of you is that how do you look at, beyond 1%? Because I think a large part of our conversation when we cater to that 1% and we are trying to solve problem for that 1%. But that's not India, guys. Try and see how you can go beyond 1%, because brands are not going to grow if they don't touch beyond 1% of India. So that's the stage we are in. We are learning, we are making mistakes, we are doing all kind of things, right? But this is what we want to cater to. We want to become a mass brand. That's our intent. So that's it from my side, guys. If you have any question to ask me, I have just 1 minute left. I think I was pretty on time. Thank you.
Absolutely in time indeed, Pawan. Thank you so much for those befitting thoughts. I'm going to quickly open the floor for any questions, ladies and gentlemen. We have room for one question at least. So if you have them, then please raise your hands. Yes, Vaibhav.
Hi, just wanted to understand one personal view of yours. With the kind of scale Wingreens has in India right now, what's your personal view on having so many SKUs? Is this required to lead to a next step of growth, or having less number of SKUs and focusing on them and driving them, making them big first? What's your personal view on that?
I think it's a brilliant question. I think all of us are grappling with this. What's the right answer? We honestly don't know. Therefore, experimentation becomes a huge part of us, right? So I think it's very tricky, right? Like, whether you have 200 SKUs, but we all know that these are those 10 SKU where actually drives your 80% of your business, right? But the thing is, we are at such a stage, because the category is so new, if you look at it, right? If you don't invent or reinvent, you don't know what is that next big product for you. Of course, in the process, there is a lot of learning, there's a lot of mistake which happens, but that's how we are taking it with a pinch of salt. That, even if we make a mistake, we want to experiment. Like, we want to cater to, like a peanut butter spread, for example. Everybody has peanut butter, like, which you spread it. But this is more like Anju had created a new product. I don't recall it. But just, it was a peanut butter base with something which was like more like a salty spread, right? You don't know whether it's going to do well or no, right? Unless if you don't throw it out to the customer. And then you decide eventually that, it's working, it's not working. But it's, as I said, it's really at a learning stage where we are right now. There's no right or wrong answer. But at some point in time, I think we'll have to streamline. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, because just a follow-up to that, because my personal view, whatever growth plans you have for next year, it could be 50%, 100% growth. One thing is certain, 80% of growth will come from core. Whatever those
100%.
3-4 SKUs
It's
are.
always the case.
So simplification has led to many other FMCG organizations. Simplification actually has led to growth over the last 1 or 2 years.
You're so right, because, what's happening is that as much as we are trying to experiment with 1% of the India new product, more for an evolved customer, so much we are also trying to go down with coconut water and sugarcane, for example. It's both what we are trying. We are at a trial stage right now. Hopefully when maybe I'm presenting somewhere next year, I have a better answer to this, and maybe, but I think that's where we are. Like, the category is kind of new to India and it's growing, right? So you need to experiment a lot, and then maybe after a year or two, you have a definitive answer. But that's where we are.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but I think the last time also you raised your hand and we didn't have time for a question. So let me just pass the mic quickly to you, ma'am. We'll just have the mic really quick. If you can just raise your hand one more time. We'll take that as the last question.
Wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a question. I was not aware that Wingreens had so many brands, though I consume all of them, be it Monsoon Harvest or Raw Pressery or the entire, the pita chips. Simply as a marketer, how do you decide which brand gets what percentage of investment? And how do you chart out that growth path? Because you can launch that many brands and products, but it needs to be backed by a certain amount of investment for it to hit a certain percentage of growth. And therefore, you take a call whether it has potential to scale up further or not, or be discontinued. So how do you decide at this point of time, given that it's still the nascent stages, what to back and what not to back?
So I'm not going to give you any clever answer. It always starts with revenue, right? What kind of revenue a brand is kind of generating, and how much should you be investing, and really from a path of growth, which brand is going to contribute how much, right? Then you land up investing. But, there are also categories you try to grow, right? Let's take an example of postcard, right? It really comes from a snacking space, but it's authentic. It goes back to the region where it's been created, and that's what we are trying to present to India and as a customer. We feel that it has a lot of potential. So then what you do is then you don't look at your marketing money in the certain percentage what you typically look at, right? Then you look at from an investment point of view, you give it some time, like 6 years or a year, and see what kind of returns it's kind of giving you, right? Then you take a call accordingly. See, the startup mindset is very, very different, and I always say that, we have come to a stage where, the burn mindset has to come to a earn mindset, right? The moment you change the mindset, some of these questions will be very important, that where do you invest and how do you invest? So typically, as I said, two things. One is revenue is important, what brings from a growth perspective. Two is potential, right? You feel that I think this kind of a brand can really grow. But having said this, the answer is also, it also lies in distribution. Like, how much are you able to distribute, right? And that's how you spend your money accordingly. So that's how we treat it at this point in time.
All right. So, well, then on that note, let's call it a wrap.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And let's have a round of applause to thank Pawan.